Money. What is money? It's a really interesting question, is it not? It's just an exchange of value. It's a way to exchange value. That is pretty complicated. It's the Nancy Skinner Show. I'm Nancy Skinner, 1-888-64-NANCY, spending a little time on some issues here today that are going to be very important for you to understand tomorrow, because this stuff is really complicated. But I got to say something. This isn't a report today. You are starting to see... let me make some predictions. If I am no longer with you, you need to know that I said this, because I started talking about the fact that I think some banks would have to be temporarily taken over, and those banks who are insolvent, shut down. Those who are illiquid will be supported. And I started saying that, let's see, I think it was around right after last September or so, when that was not popular to say. So I'm willing to take unpopular stands if I believe it to be true. And here you go. The chairman of the FDIC Insurance Corporation, Sheila Bair, said she thinks the FDIC should have the authority to close systematically important financial institutions. She gave a speech to the New York Economic Club, said they should take over and shut down bank holding companies, insurers, and other large financial institutions, and not just failed commercial banks. Do you get that? So that would be like an AIG, which is an insurance company. If we're pumping in this kind of money and they have systematically important rules, in other words, that means everyone else gets screwed when they go down. That's another way too. When you're at the dinner parties and someone says to you, he's concerned about systematically important financial institutions, you say, oh, the ones who will screw everybody else when they fall down, and you will be correct. And so what she's now speaking up, now she was a Bush appointee. So now Wall Street's afraid of her. They're all saying, should we be scared of Sheila Bair? She's talking about closing down banks. Well, that's what FDR did. They did a bank holiday. They shut down all the banks. And then they went back, and over a period of time, they started reopening a week later. They went through and they systematically looked at the books and said which banks could reopen, and it went as smoothly as can be. So this whole fear-mongering about the idea that we can't move in, we may be, as I just said in the last segment, we may be shareholders. Citibank and Bank of America, two of the most troubled banks. 19 banks had stress tests, okay? And 10 of the 19 are said to need serious infusions of cash. Still, believe it or not. Now, so you've got them needing this money. And this is egregious. Let's see, do we have time to play a little bit of this? This was a segment on, coming up after the break, on CNBC. These banks who need money, who we may be, if they do their stock conversion deals, we are going to be we will own Citibank, we the taxpayers, and Bank of America, okay, two of the biggest banks, who are raising rates on credit cards, right, even to try and raise capital right now. Don't you think that it might not be a bad idea if we own them to go in there, change up the board a little bit, set these rules in place so this can't happen again? Maybe look at capping maximum APR and stopping the worst abuses that have led to this crisis. And if we are majority shareholders in that, who's going to fight us, right? Because it's the government's, it's the government regulators, government regulating the government, which is all of us. And now, on the other side, I'll show you some video where banks are actually tearing down brand new houses because they don't want to basically be a team player. So more of that to come. Your calls 1-888-64-NANCY on the Nancy Skinner Show.
So sad. Show you my body.